freezing in here. I put a heater on before I came in here, too, and it's still really cold.
Well, bring the cat in and put it on your lap.
Yeah, he wouldn't sit still for that, sadly. Oh, my gosh. Well, I think it's pretty obvious, though, what you want to talk about, Walt, isn't it?
Everybody's talking about AI.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
I know, it's boring.
But those pictures.
Yeah, those are weird. It is to the point where you have no idea online what is real and what's not. You just don't know.
Everybody was doing like video game type images. Of, those look like those are real people.
Real things.
And did you see the Biden deep fake?
No, I didn't see that. Why did they make him look like a total doddering old
No, he actually looked better. But what he was saying was, I like him with big booties and stuff like that.
Oh, I got to look for that.
It really is at the point where, unless you see it with your own eyes.
Yeah, you can't know, I guess.
Why did you think I wanted to talk about that?
Because you keep sending emails about it.
Keep sending emails about it.
I sent you photos. Did I send something else?
The
the article. Right.
The article.
Yeah.
Well, I thought it was pretty amazing. Based on what I asked it.
Yeah, I mean, and it's funny because when I looked at it, I didn't realize like what GPT was for a sec. It took me a couple of days before I'm like, oh, that's probably AI. And when I read it, I was like, oh, I think I've read this before,
Right.
Because
what does GPT stand for?
I don't know.
I don't know either. It's just I know it's another AI.
It could turn out to be VR, where nothing really develops from it. But who knows? It could, if it turns out the way it's going, really, lose a lot of people their jobs.
Well, I mean, it is like most technological things where it has to be driven by porn.
Right.
So, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
How are they going to react?
How is the porn industry going to glom onto this?
Right.
They probably just, not have to use actors anymore.
They could put Biden in one.
Yes, that's true. They could put
with his Ray-Bans.
I feel like that has happened already, though, right? Like, people have been replaced, like, in porn things, right? Hasn't it happened?
I don't know. I don't watch much porn.
I'm not on porn sites very often.
I try to avoid them.
Somebody said on, I think it was Dave, said on Silicon Valley, that series.
Yeah.
One of the guys said every major communications technology has been driven by porn.
Right.
And I said, yeah, but what about telegraphy? I don't think there was much telegraphy porn. Unless it was just stop.
Jeez, Walt.
Jeez.
Some guy out in Kansas in a little telegraph station waiting for the next installment of 7 words.
Jeez. Yeah, that's true. Alexander Graham Bell probably didn't have much porn.
Did you know that when they
content happening,
started with telephones, they thought of them as a broadcast device?
As opposed to a person-to-person?
Yeah. It wasn't that you would call one person, it's that everybody's telephone would ring at the same time and said, there's a fire at the corner of such and such.
Where'd you get that little factoid, Walt?
I don't know. I remember that from a long time ago. So you never know where the technology is going.
I just feel like, well, no, this doesn't really have anything to do with AI.
Okay.
AI to me is like, I have confusion around it the way I have around 3D printing.
Right.
Like I don't really understand how it works, but it's like such a huge phenomenon,
I just feel like it's just another media, media pushed story.
Well, that's certainly possible.
Like, I know that teachers are really, and professors are a little worried about it because...
Right.
For sure.
But the thing is, it's not like that kind of shit hasn't been around anyway. You could have paid someone to write your paper for you before. You could have found a paper online before,
Tell me about Alexander Graham Bell's discovery of the telephone.
Yeah, that's true, but it's so much easier if you can just ask the chatbot. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I feel like it's just all that, horror of new technology,
Yeah, the media definitely has to have something to talk about, but...
What are you using to video record today, Walt? You look a little different. It looks kind of grainy, and you're very close up.
It's the webcam that wouldn't work the last time.
Ah, okay. It's very clear. I can see every pore on your face, Walt.
Yeah. Now, I don't know why it's different.
It's funny. It looks good on my screen.
No, it's just very, hyper.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you meant grainy like snowy TV grainy, but no.
How do the pores in my face look? Old?
Yeah.
Here's what my phone is sitting on.
What is that?
It's a speaker.
Oh. Mine is sitting on a box of old fabric.
Well, I used to have a stack of books right here, and then my son had 3 friends over on Friday night, and they were all down here in the basement, and I think they moved everything. There's 4 thumbtacks stuck in the table over here. 4 18 to 20-year-olds.
What do you think the thumbtacks were for?
I don't know.
Well, you sent that email about how to improve your podcasting, Grace.
Oh, yeah. I for some reason, I thought maybe there were some technical things in there that maybe we hadn't tried, but it sounds like you have tried everything.
I mean, we're proof that it doesn't take anything. Anybody can do it at any time.
Right.
I think the idea is you have to devote more time to it than I
Right.
do. So,
well, we're doing it for fun.
Right.
yeah, maybe when I retire,
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to figure out new ways that I could do that earlier. Do you guys have any suggestions?
To retire?
Yeah, like hit the lottery or whatever.
Chatbot porn.
There you go.
It's true. I could do OnlyFans. I figure that like on OnlyFans, there's got to be some people on there that would like to see a 61-year-old woman who's slightly overweight, Don't you think?
Well, sure.
In a closet with shamrocks behind her.
Don't you think that would be on someone's list? Okay, before I forget this, it has nothing to do with AI, although I suppose the whole thing could have been AI generated. But I was watching a documentary about an invasive species the other day, right? And so you think like salamanders or, hornets, killer hornets or whatever, right? This was about hippos, invasive hippos in Colombia. I mean, how weird is that?
Invasive, like aggressive?
Well, what happened was Pablo Escobar, he had like this, he was like a billionaire or whatever. So he built like this zoo, this sanctuary with all these animals. He wanted to do like a Noah's Ark kind of thing. But anyway, after he was killed and, the country couldn't really keep up with the place. And so I think a lot of the animals died, but then the hippos somehow populated and like they have an invasive hippo problem in Colombia.
Wandering the streets, raiding trash cans.
I don't know if they're wandering streets, but they're all over like the waterways and stuff. I mean, like how weird is that?
Interesting.
Invasive hippos.
Yeah, well, I guess he had a fairly big herd, and then when they shut him down.
They said he had like 5 or 10. Now there's like over 100.
Yeah, it must be a perfect climate for them.
But they don't have
Right.
them. That's the thing, and I don't like that means
Right.
that any species then could be invasive. Like we could get invasive elephants,
Mhm.
right? I mean, we could get invasive, I don't know what.
Woolly mammoths.
Yes.
Yeah.
If the things aren't in place to keep the population controlled or
Absolutely.
penned up, what was the upshot at the end of it?
You know what? I didn't finish the whole thing. I didn't have the patience for it.
As with most things.
You pulled us in, and now
I don't know why that just struck me as just so surreal.
Right.
Invasive hippos.
The Colombian government is running hippo hunting tours.
they're not nice. They're not nice at all.
Well,
Yeah, I don't, the talked to one guy who got attacked by one.
Yeah.
No, they're like the most dangerous,
right.
and water buffaloes or something like that are like the 2 most dangerous animals in the wild. Well, grizzly bears too, though, right? No, polar bears are the really dangerous ones.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Sorry, I don't know. For some reason, that just struck me. I'm like,
Yeah.
invasive hippos. That's a good name for a band or something, right? I mean,
Right. Oh, I was going to say, or a game.
Yeah,
like a
invasive
computer game.
Invasive hippos. Yes. Anyway, so AI.
No, we don't have to do that. I didn't realize I had.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
obsessed, right? As
Oh
usual.
my gosh.
Yeah.
Right.
As per usual.
I did have some past business though. We made an error on a previous podcast, and I'm sure the internet is probably just going crazy.
Yeah, we're getting canceled right now. What was it?
And I'm saying the royal podcast we don't want to assign blame for this.
Oh, boy.
It's going to be me. I know it's going to be me.
We said that Reacher was played by John Krasinski, and he's Jack Ryan.
Oh.
And then we got on to how tall these people were.
Right.
Jack Reacher in the books is 6'5", 250. Krasinski's only 6'3". But the guy that plays Reacher, Alan Ritchson, is 6'4", 235. And for the next season, he's bulked up. He's added 10 pounds or something. So he's getting very close to the fictional, the real Jack Reacher.
To real, right, to fiction, to the fictional real guy.
And then after a lot of poking around, I found what seems to be the definitive Tom Cruise 5'7", 148. So when he played Reacher, it was bad. But anyway.
I heard he was 5'2".
No, he's 5. He's my height.
No, I'm kidding.
Oh.
That was Prince. I think Prince was 5'2".
Robert Redford is also
tons of them,
quite
like
short.
Mel Gibson.
Yeah.
You know, like just people that you just don't. But then you do find out about all those little things that they do during filming.
They shot Ordinary People in Lake Forest, Illinois, which is where I went to college. And so we used to go into town and watch them film, and they had him standing on a box. Robert Redford, like standing on a
How humiliating.
Right.
You know, like why can't they just make him short?
Right.
Is there some social disability associated with being? I mean, I guess there is.
You can't have the guy shorter than the woman.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. I was watching a movie the other day, a horror movie. It was good too, I thought. But anyway, I'm looking at it and I'm like, that's the Finger Lakes. She's in this little house on a lake. I'm like, that's the Finger Lakes. And I looked it up, and indeed, it was right on Skaneateles Lake.
Wow, you recognize it like that. That's neat.
It was well, it's interesting because I guess for some reason I wouldn't think that the Finger Lakes would be so recognizable.
Right.
But I was like, that's the Finger Lakes. Yeah, it was really interesting. It kind of reminded me of like, you know, the houses that, well, it didn't remind me. It was like one of those houses that's on one of those, you know, cliffs.
Like on a bluff.
I don't think you'd call it a cliff. The bluff, right? Yeah. It was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And then I watched a bunch of horror movies this week. Megan. That was fun.
Oh, gosh.
I heard that was good.
Did you watch that?
No, but I saw the trailer and I thought, do they laugh at themselves a little bit? It looks like.
I think it's a total comedy.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Not really scary, right?
I didn't think it was scary. There was only one scene that was creepy where she's running on all fours chasing this kid.
Oh, God.
Yeah, that was creepy. But it was funny. I mean, and I guess I would imagine it's supposed to be. I can't imagine you'd make it and not know that it was funny. But then the best one I watched was called Lake Mungo, this Australian movie. It's about 15 years old. Super creepy and really good. And that the movie that in Skaneateles Lake was called The Night House. And The Night House and Lake Mungo are really both about like nothingness, you know, like how you're totally alone. And for that reason, I think they both were just really super effective because of that, you know. Although Lake Mungo was, I thought, even much better than The Night House.
You mean?
I don't know. It was.
You mean like existentially alone, or?
Yeah.
As we've covered on this podcast many times.
Yeah, like Lake Mungo was about this girl who drowns, and you find that out, you know, in the first 5 minutes, so it's not a spoiler, but it's just about how no one really knew her, and in some ways, still, even her family still were ignoring her, you know what I mean? Like, how she was still alone in death. I mean, it was, I don't know, it was intense. It was really, really good. And scary, too.
I never watch horror movies.
Really?
No.
Why? Same reason you don't like music? You don't like to feel emotion?
Whoa, right for the jugular, Grace.
That's it. That's really it. Terrified of emotion. Yeah, I just, like in a theater, I have to look at my feet because when I know something's going to happen.
Yeah, Chuck's like that too.
I can't look at the screen because I don't like being surprised like that.
Yeah. You know what I think is sad is like these days it seems like horror equals jump scares. Right?
Oh, totally.
That movie Lake Mungo, there was one jump scare. That was it. The rest of it was just very intense dread, you know? So I'm not a particular fan of jump scares, especially because, you know, they're usually just telegraphed to you like, okay, here comes the, you know, and so I do watch like this, no doubt, but I don't know. I am very, very, maybe I have an overactive imagination, but, of course, last night I'm in bed, like, okay, I can't open my eyes because Lake Mungo, just, I get really scared.
Right.
That must be pleasurable then.
I guess it must be.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I mean, I just love that feeling of being...
Right. The endorphins are on all cylinders,
like,
right?
Yes. Well, like Silence of the Lambs, what I loved about that movie was that it never stopped being that, right? It's from the minute it started to the whole, to the end.
Yeah.
It never let you down.
Right.
No.
I mean, because I don't really care about like, oh, how much blood does this have? Because I know there are people who just love that. That's what they're all in for. And so that's probably why I haven't watched like Hostel movies or Saw movies or anything like that. That just doesn't interest me that much.
I'm with you on that.
So not the slasher or the.
Yeah, there are some slasher movies that I think are good.
Yeah. But the torture ones,
no.
that to me is a different level.
That doesn't really interest me. Oddly enough, torture doesn't interest me.
I remember watching Stranger Things, but I would sit at my desk at night and watch it in the dark. It heightened the tension so much, and I really enjoyed that. And I was scared in the dark by myself, and it made it better for me. So I get that.
I guess I just don't like any emotion, of course, but fear most of all. I don't. That's not pleasurable for me.
Well, I guess I don't like fear in real life.
Yeah.
Right.
But fear on the screen is just fun. I don't
Fantasy,
know.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't like put yourself in danger in real life.
No.
Right.
Versus you, who would.
Oh, that's true. Good point.
Well, on a very mild level,
Yeah. But like Luis, there's no movie that scares him. Like there's movies that'll say, "Oh yeah, that was a little scary," but there's nothing that scares him at all. And I do think he has that thing where like it takes more to stimulate his nervous system because he is
in real life. Is he?
Oh yeah, I mean like he'll go on like any ride. He wants a motorcycle so he can drive fast. Boxing, like he likes the intense, and I think that's a physical thing, I mean.
I do have a thing where I'm never scared in real life, really. And like a loud noise or something, or everybody around you goes, I don't react at all. My immediate thing is, what should my reaction be? I have a thoughtful response to any kind of,
I mean, it must be a genetic thing with you, Walt.
Yeah.
You just, I mean, why else would you not? Well, not why else, but like the music thing, right? I mean, it doesn't do anything for you. That's
right.
That seems unusual.
Right. And it's not 100%. I can enjoy some music, but
do you tap your foot to music?
Yeah, I can do that.
Only dueling banjos.
Right.
Because he knows there's a torture scene after. What? I'm sorry.
Right. And a jump scare.
Yeah, and a jump scare.
In a live situation or something, I won't sit at home and listen to music and tap my foot.
So if you went to a concert, you'd tap your foot.
Yeah. I can understand rhythm.
Can you?
Can you now?
If there's what did you say?
She was just snapping her fingers off any, like, there was no known beat.
If there's a noise outside at night,
doesn't bother you.
That's not scary to me at all. My response is totally rational.
What if it was an invasive hippo?
Well, hippos are different. That's a whole different
Tennessee.
Look out your window.
Invaded by hippos.